Half a kilometre down the road from Bishops is their rival school, Rondebosch Boys High. Established in 1897, Rondebosch's Scottish staff first introduced soccer. But by 1908, rugby had a foothold, and soccer was a thing of the past. Bosch have since become a prominent rugby school in the Cape.
I'd like to think that our first job is is learning and teaching, and that's what we do here primarily. But boys come to us. I mean, one has to acknowledge that boys come to us because they want to play sport. And we have to offer sport at the highest level. We have to be able to give them the opportunities to go on to play sport at the highest level. And so we make sure that we have the right coaches. But obviously rugby has a special traction with the audience out there. And so it tends to draw the biggest crowds. It tends to have the most excitement generated around it. We've had old rivalries against the local southern suburb schools for years and generations and eons, and Bishops is the oldest of those derbies.
Playing in the Bishops match, first team against first team, is obviously the biggest dream you could ever dream of. I mean, you ask any Rondebosch boy playing rugby, this is the game you want to play in.
It's massive, the crowd is incredible. The whole week prior to the game, you're nervous. In class, I mean, your head's not on work, it's all just going through the game. But having played last year, I know just be calm. But the main thing is when you run out the tunnel, I mean, goes the whole field, the crowd, it's amazing. I'm getting goosebumps now already, so it's very, very big, yeah.
The old school will be here most, and yeah, I know there's lots of spectators keen to watch the old school. I know Rondebosch has lots of old boys who's very passionate about the school, so I think they'll all come.
Oh, I think it'll definitely be a very close game. I think both sides have done quite well this season thus far. Bishops drawing to Porus, losing in the last few minutes against Pole Boys. They're definitely a good side this year, so we've got our work cut out for us.
These guys, of course, they're also living in the same suburb, and they know each other not only through the two games, but just in the neighbourhood. So in the 5 years I've been involved, it's been very difficult to get 2 wins in a year, because after the one team loses, they're pretty cut up. So the next game it becomes very tricky to return the favour.
Look, it was probably for myself a special time. You know, I grew up never seeing us beat Bishops. I think there was a 17-year streak that ended the year before. Then we were sort of the second generation that beat Bishops both home and away. You know, it was tough games. I think both games were won by 1 point. And then I played first team for 2 years, so the second year it was a bit easier. But my first year, really big crowds, a lot of expectation and controversial at times, but always good fun. I think what's good here is the type of rugby that's played in the southern suburbs. It's all about scoring tries. It's about creating an attractive brand. It's total rugby that the guys want to see. And, you know, once you've left, you come back here, you see guys you haven't seen. Some guys have the reunions the night before, whatever. So it's always, you know, the brand of rugby is good, especially it's a good spectacle. And the atmosphere, the vibe that's created around the stadium makes it special.
We often talk about the hiss in the school. There's a sort of a spirit that runs through the school. And you from time to time, have to sort of tweak that. But by and large, it's self-generating. I mean, the boys on a Friday afternoon, the matrics will stand on the matric door in here and they'll do a war cry together, and that's their own initiative.
What do you get? Rondebosch! What do you get? Rondebosch! Who's the best? Rondebosch!
We prepare for rugby. We're trying to get all the little sideshows that come along in a week like this, and trying not to put too much pressure on the boys themselves. So we focus on what we need to do on the rugby field. And we enjoy the rest of it because it is a good build-up, and it's a really good day to be involved in a derby.
Well, obviously it's easy to say that the result doesn't matter, it's just another game, but inevitably it is the biggest game that some of us will ever play in rugby, and that is what carries us through the game, knowing that we're in the game, and just everyone playing as a team, supporting each other throughout, and putting our heart into every practice.
I wouldn't say the pressure gets to us, but I mean, it's always at the back of my mind that it's a big game. So we need to prepare, and basically we've only played them twice a year, and this is our last year of playing them, and we can't afford to not come out of the win, so pressure is definitely there.
The two schools have been playing each other annually since 1911 and currently play each other twice every season. There have been 177 matches between the two schools, with Bishops winning on 96 occasions. In their last match, it was Bosch who completed a 1911 victory on the Piley Reese field.
Schoolboy rugby has obviously grown. It's quite a big business now. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I don't know. But in terms of Premier Interschools, South Africa is special with the rugby talent we've got, and I think the Premier Interschools, obviously televising, it makes it a good experience. It makes it bigger for the players, and it creates a great vibe. A lot of people, we get used to conditioned to watching so much rugby, but I think schoolboy rugby, especially in the Western Cape, is special. You don't get big crowds like you do in schoolboy rugby, like you do in other countries, and we've got to cherish that.
Most important in any kind of game of this nature is a sense of collegiality, and I think it's important that the people who come to support it in that light. There's not a do or die aspect to this, and people often get quite excited and carried away as spectators, and I think they've just got to bear in mind that it's an old tradition. It's been played for generations, and it will continue to be played for generations hereafter.
Today, we stand for all that is. For our heritage, our tradition, our future. Today, we become.
Watch Bishops versus Rondebosch in Mutual and Federal Premier Interschools Rugby this Saturday, live on SuperSport.